My name is Mike Rees, General Manager of Seawind and Corsair Marine. I've just a bit of background on myself. I've been working with Seawind for 10 years now, and I've been based in Ho Chi Minh for 2.5 of those years. But I was based in the main factory as production manager in Wollongong for a number of years. So I worked with Richard for many years, and obviously Brent for many of that time as well, as he was based as part of the Seawind team. Just to run through, Brent, if we can do the next slide. What we want to run through is just give an introduction and a discussion about the concept of the boat, the Seawind 1600, some of the design aspects. We'll run through some GAs and some interiors, and some of the items about value and why we think it's a great product, and obviously some detail on delivery times, construction, and some pricing. So next slide, please, Brent. So looking at the concept and the design of this product, we first got involved with this product when Seawind was getting involved with Corsair back in 2010, which is when Seawind purchased Corsair Marine. Corsair Marine had already moved to Vietnam, and they'd embarked on this project to develop a large 50-foot catamaran. And at that time, Seawind was looking to really extend its product range. We were looking for a larger catamaran to either purchase, or we were to develop ourselves. And when we came across the 50-foot cat that Corsair had in production, it ticked so many boxes of having the right characteristics to suit the Seawind product range that it was instrumental into the purchase of buying Corsair Marine. So the 1600 was a product that was in build at the time that we purchased Corsair Marine. But since that stage, we at Seawind have really spent a lot of time working with the designers, Rycourt Pugh, to modify that design to turn it into the Seawind 1600 from what was the Corsair 50. Okay, so essentially this product, both past and present, is all about having a product that's delivering the best value between performance and comfort. There are products out there in the same size that are faster, without doubt. And as we all know, there's some pretty luxurious and very comfortable boats in the 50-foot range that don't have the performance. And this is really trying to strike that balance where we feel is the optimum position. It's a full liverboard boat. It's exciting for cruising. It's a product that's just got excellent passage making ability, whether that's full liverboard cruising or whether you're doing coastal cruising. It's certainly not your standard production cat. The level of finish that we're pitching this boat at is much higher than that. It's very well laid out, and it's been set up by sailors. It's ergonomically, it just works in the cockpit, works in the saloon area very well. So it's a good balance, we think, therefore, of performance and fit out. Okay, so next slide, please, Brent. Just want to run through a little bit more about the history. I think it's important that we cover this before we talk about what is our new product, the Seawind 1600. We do have 2 boats that have already been launched from this product range. Mango Moon was launched in Vietnam as hull number 1, and it's now been sailing for a number of years. It's currently in New Zealand, and the American owners are still absolutely in love with their boat. They send us emails saying how they get stopped, and people make fantastic remarks about the quality and the design of the product. The second vessel was launched, and that was very much completed by Seawind when we got involved up in Seawind, up at Corsair Marine in Vietnam. Paw Paw was launched and is now sailing in Thailand, and that's the boat that we're looking at on the screen here. if you can just run through these next slides, Brent. I had the opportunity to go sailing on Pawpaw last year, and it's absolutely fantastic. The ergonomics, the sailing characteristics are very nice. It's a nice light product. It's very good for them from the helm position. It's got some great features, and we'll run through those in the later slide. So next slide again, please, Brent. Here we can see actually got the owner on board and prospective customer that we were test sailing with, but you can see the helm position in a semi-protected but very comfortable, very solid helm position that can be covered when required. Next slide, please, Brent. And again. Okay, so the product that we just saw there is a great product, but it was something that we knew wasn't quite right for our Seawind range, and we knew that we had some work to do to make it right for the marketplace. And as a result, we've spent some time, as I said, with Rifle Cube, and we've also had some European naval architects and interior designers doing a restyle, both interior and external. So let's just run through some of those technical details. Next slide, please, Brent. So general info here, and again, this is all available to view later on our website, but I think some of the key things to note is we're looking at a 52-foot cat. Dagger boards and rudders are obviously retractable, so in shallow draft mode, we're only talking about 2 foot of draft or half a metre. Displacement of around 13 tonne. Standard boat comes with the 53 Yanmars, and main and jib we've got 144 square metres, so plenty of power. It is a performance boat, so as you can see we've got carbon bowsprit on the nose there, so it's geared up for performance sailing, and obviously we've got a different range of code zeros and spinnakers to suit. So next slide, please, Brent. So just to really just focus a little bit on that balance of performance and comfort and how this boat may differ from some of the other cats that are available on the marketplace. When we look at the performance side of it, we first and foremost, the actual original design, we've got to say, coming from Rifle Q, I mean, those guys have done some of the most fantastic performance boats over the years, and you know, in the Australian context, obviously, Wild Oats would be the most famous boat in Australia from their design office, but you know, a huge wealth of experience from those guys. With that, we've got some great underwater lines. In the image on the bottom right here, you can see how we've got the step out top side, which gives you the internal volume you need to have the comfort, but obviously below the waterline you've got that more slender hull shape, which is common to a lot of performance-based cats at the moment. So lightweight construction, fully infused. It's the laminate is a mix of Kevlar and E-glass with a lot of carbon reinforcement. A lot of the main bulkheads and beams are carbon reinforced. Twin dagger boards, so obviously the performance we're getting with the dagger boards, giving you that extra height, going a bit tighter, sort of 35 or less degrees, should be easily achievable. We've also got the dagger style rudders, which you can see in the top right image here. So the rudders can be pulled up, so you've got a locker that comes up, you just pull them up, which gives you that ability to have such a shallow draft. Also gives you a much lower wetted surface area when you're sailing if required. So the other thing with this boat, and again relating to the original products launched, is that Mango Moon has been sailing for a number of years now and has great feedback. It's the owner is complimenting that it's very well balanced and very happy with the performance. So it's had very good testing on the water throughout the years. In terms of performance, the second boat, Pawpaw, that ended up going out with a full carbon rig, from all your spars, PBO rigging. So the boat really can be spec'd up to be a performance boat if that's what the driving force is for the customer. Next slide, Brent. So rifle pews, polars here, and you can see going from 35 degrees, which gut feel will be probably get some performance slightly less than that as well, but you've got good performance polars indicated there from rifle pew. Next slide, please, Brent. Okay, I guess there are a number of boats out there at the moment that have that performance, and I think one of the things on this product that we're looking to see is how it's differentiated is the level of comfort, the level of build quality, and the joinery, and that's something that obviously we demonstrated on our last boats that were launched. The build quality was just absolutely fantastic. The styling was not to everyone's taste. It was an older style, a very darker cherry type timber, and we've moved away from that with new interiors, which we'll see later. But the actual quality of joinery and installation in this in the C50s was absolutely fantastic, and that's going to be carried through. That's going to be retained with the Seawind 1600. The large accommodation down below. Some of the performance cats that you see now coming out, going forward of the main bulkhead, there's really not much volume there at all. It's all behind the main bulkhead, whereas this model, the 1600, has still got that space forward of the main bulkhead. You've still got good internal volume, and largely that's in relation to that step out that we saw on the top side previously. So you've got a very nice option of having the starboard side as the owner's side, and it's very voluminous, lots of space, and it's fantastic in terms of comfort if you are liveaboard cruising. We've also, as part of our Seawind input into this, put in some of our sort of tried and tested, or whether you could call it Seawind DNA, the things that we know work well for our products previously, and we know that the ventilation on all of our previous models has always been something that our customers like. So we've introduced that as well onto this 1600, as well as making sure we've got good entertainment space. All of the 1160s, 1250s have always been known for having that great space because of our trifold door, and we've made sure we've got a nice large cockpit space, as you know, which all adds to that comfort factor for when you're on board cruising, whether it's coastal or liveaboard. The other thing with comfort, I think it's important to tie in safety as well. You know, all of the lines being led back to the cockpit. It's safety, it's comfort. It's if you're sailing as a husband and wife team, you don't want to be going out of the cockpit for doing any kind of rigging. So having that everything run back is very important. And the helm is actually in it's a protected to semi-protected position. Certainly not out on the transoms like many of the French boats, many of the French production cats. You've got a semi-exposed area where you are protected. You've got bimini cover overhead, and you can have clears to enclose yourself. So, but like the Seawind, and this was important when we were looking at this model, is it's got good 360-degree visibility from the helm. Okay, next slide, please, Brent. So, just running through that, rifle pew are the naval architects responsible for the lines, but as you can see, compared to the boats that we were showing you originally, we've dramatically changed these, changed the lines of the Seawind 1600. Okay, next slide, please, Brent. So, if you can just move on to the next slide as well, Brent. Sorry. Just talking about general arrangement and interior fit out and exterior styling. The boat comes in two options. There's the owner's version and 3 cabin, 2 bathroom, or the 4 cabin version. So we can just look at that next slide, Brent. As you can see, the starboard side on the owner's version, you've got a really nice voluminous starboard side, large bathroom forward, and you can put in washing machine and owner's equipment on that starboard side. Port side, you can either have a twin bunk in the aft, or you can do another double. But there's plenty of space down below for your different options. Just for your information, you can just see the centerboard going down there. It's in the center of the hulls, but we are able to put tanks inboard on the starboard side, or actually the bathroom goes inboard on the port side. Okay, next slide please, Brent. So, alternative option, the 4-cabin version, which has got 2 midship bathrooms. Okay. Both, well, all of our products on this size have the galley up, and our view of the galley up versus galley down is once you get to the size, it's around that sort of 41, 42 foot size, you have the size and the volume to be able to do your galley up, and it makes sense, I think, every time to do a galley up on a larger cat like this. Okay, next slide please. So as you can see here, compared to some of the previous models with a different interior, this is the new styled brand new interior finish with we've got a bleached oak finish here. You can see Corian bench tops, but we've also put a few additional things in here. The front opening windows are slightly off screen, but we also have introduced the fixed panel overhead sunroof lights, I suppose you call them. They're not opening, they're fixed, but we've got enough ventilation going through there anyway, but it's just about getting light into the boat. People want to have nice, light, airy saloons. So they'll have blackout screens, obviously, so we can cut out that sunlight. The windows on the aft area are all slide away, so that can be open as well. And as you can see, we've got a television which comes down from the ceiling. So just a really nice, sort of more modern, more European style interior. Next slide, please, Brent. Same shot from the same version from a different angle, but nav station up, galley up. Nice. We've laid it out to make sure that if you are in rough weather conditions, that galley still works well. You can still wedge yourself in between the island bench there, and it's still nice and safe, practical galley. Next slide, please, Brent. This is an image from the starboard aft cabin, again in that bleached oak finish, but that's the owner's cabin, starboard aft, and then coming forward of that, you then have the midship sort of dressing area, and then forward again, you'd have the bathroom. So, next slide, please, Brent. We have the option of doing the timber in a teak, as shown here, with obviously a darker floor. We also would do a walnut on request as well, which would be probably a similar colour to the floor there. But there's really a number of options we can do for the timber, but the bleached oak will be the standard interior. Okay. Next slide, please, Brent. I guess this image is of the last boat that was launched, and what I'm just trying to show here and demonstrate here is that the joinery on the previous boats was very high, and every person I know that's been on those boats comes off going, wow, the level of finish coming out of the yard in Vietnam was just absolutely blown away. But as you can see, it's a very old style. It's cherry, it's the colours aren't quite right, and it was all done with the previous management and the owner driving the colour tones. But I think what I'm trying to really demonstrate is that the capability of our team here is such that we can deliver really high quality interior work. Next slide, please, Brent. For the exterior styling, you can see we've changed our window shape, both on top side and on the saloon area. We've adjusted the way that we've got our canopy top mounted to the main deck, different pillar connections, and we've changed the pillars on the saloon area as well, just to give it a more modern styling, modern shape. Okay. Next slide, please, Brent. And that's the cockpit entertainment space that we're talking about, which every cat of this size, you've got to have good entertainment space to enjoy the comfort of your boat. So, okay. So when we look at why a Seawind, why a product from our company, and the build quality that we're pitching ourselves for this boat is high. We're not trying to match the mass-produced production cats. We're not trying to match the perhaps the higher performance French cats that have got a more Spartan interior. We're trying to deliver something that blows you away in terms of build quality and joinery installation. But we are building it at a lightweight as a lightweight product, and it'll still perform very well. All of our construction's fully certified. It's CE compliant, and all certifications that come with it. Some of our international suppliers there are represented on the screen. Whilst we're in Vietnam, we're using all the big names that you would want to see on any international product. Yanmar engines, B&G, all the gear that you'd expect to see on a yacht from an international yard. We have full international warranty. We've got 5-year structural warranty on the product, and that's on around the globe, full global dealer network. And I think it's important to note as well that Seawind Catamarans has been Australian owned and managed for 34 years. And your 5-year warranty has a lot more value if it's with a company that's stood the test of time. Okay. So to just talk about our delivery, we've got a boat in build at the factory here at the moment. He's actually an existing Seawind customer that's coming through who's upgrading, and that boat will be launched at the early part of 2017. The boat will likely go to Europe and do some boat shows there, and will be enjoyed and sailed and cruised in Europe. And then our second boat, which we're looking to have sold in the coming months, would be available for sometime in mid-2017, depending on start of construction timing. Okay, Brent. So do we have any questions, either through the chat room or Brent, perhaps, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Mike, I do actually. So thanks very much. Great presentation, and a really exciting project there. I've had an incredible amount of interest and feedback about this since it first came out a little while ago. So a few questions that have come up on a couple of occasions that maybe you can answer for us. So early on you mentioned there's a carbon rig, is that right?
The standard boat comes with an aluminium rig, and it's a double spreader aluminium rig coming out of all yacht spas. But there is an option to go a carbon rig and PBO rigging, which obviously the advantage of that is you've got a much stiffer rig, but also you're really stripping the weight out by doing that PBO rigging.
And with the carbon rig, is there an option for a rotating rig?
We haven't specified or engineered it yet. I mean, all things are possible, Brent, but the last boat that we did with a carbon rig was a fixed rig. The standard boat is a fixed rig, but if there was a specific requirement, we could certainly look at it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, there's pros and cons to both. So, and obviously, it all comes at a cost. But
that's right.
Interesting to know that there's options there for it. So, and I just want to take you back to some of the earlier slides. See if I can dig them up through the presentation here in the interior. So I'm just looking in the saloon through the galley here, and there's glass sliding windows and doors here. Can you just clarify how that works and which segments become open?
Sure. Well, all of those segments will become open that you can see on the aft area there. So you've got the sliding. The main door slides to port, so it slides behind the pantry area, which is slightly off screen, and then the two smaller windows on top of the galley then slide down, so they're out of the way. So you've got that area completely open.
Oh, so they slide down into the bulkhead,
That's right.
joining the galley bench tops there.
That's right. Yeah. So you've got it. You really do have a nice open space there.
Wow. Okay. And where the door slides across and joins the window, that all becomes open. There's not a pillar left there.
I think there is a pillar that will be left there, but the other sections will be open. That's right.
Right. And on the other side of that, let's see if we got an image there on the outside. That's just access. That's a seat, a galley seat. Okay, there we are.
Yeah.
Behind.
We did. There's two versions there where we had a 3-window slider to one side there, which we're trying to get it so it's slides down and out of the way completely, which is the preferred option. So that's what we're going for.
And from a purely selfish point of view, I'm a pretty tall guy. What's the headroom like through the boat?
It's a good question, Brent. I've got to say, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. But what I do know is that I've been inside that boat without a headliner, and it's very high. You're 6'3", you'd be fine in there. Absolutely, it's good. It's actually good down below as well. It's surprising how much volume the boat does have. So, it's certainly you would be fine inside that saloon without doubt.
Okay, and just my last question: the colouring of the hull, how is that achieved? It looks spectacular. So
the standard boat would be a white gel coat. We're proposing to spray the first boat to get that kind of finish. So it'll be a 2-pack polyurethane spray paint to get that metallic type finish. And that's something that we'd offer as an option for future customers, certainly.
Sure. And just a couple of quick questions before I take more from the floor around the sailing system. So looks like you've got quite a large self-tacking jib up on the front deck.
Absolutely, self-tacking, and then that then runs back to the cockpit. Obviously, all the controls are back to the helm.
And the main sheet is controlled from where in the
main sheet. The main sheet system is set up on a bridle arrangement, similar to the way the katanas operate their main sheet system. But we are actually looking to have an option to have that as a main sheet on the back as well. So we'd like to be able to offer both versions.
Right. And with the bowsprit, I assume you're planning to run, well, it looks like you've got another furling drum up forward there for a Genoa
Code 0.
Or Code 0. Okay. And then it was spinning across the end of the sprit?
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Okay.
And all of that 4-beam area, all of the longeron, which is the longitudinal beam going forward there, that's all carbon.
Right.
Obviously, hugely structural work up the forward end there.
Sure. And the lines coming back to the cockpit, are they under the deck, or where would you expect those to run?
Correct. That's correct. Yeah. There's a series of channels where they come through. Some of the lines actually come through a purpose designed and extruded aluminium channel on the edge of the gunnel, which bring the lines back, and some of them are under GRP channels.
Right.
Yeah, and so it's effectively you've got concealed lines coming after, which is nice and tidy for the deck, and obviously safe for people walking up forward.
Yep. And you mentioned that the Dagger Boards are completely enclosed in their casing from the top of the deck. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So they don't protrude up through the deck, but the up down line is run aft along the deck, and again coming back to that, obviously that aft winch that you can see. So all the controls come back to that helm position again.
Great. Okay, we'll take some questions from the floor here. I've got a question here from Phil. Any idea on estimated weight?
So the light ship weight is 13 tonne, and we've seen that with depending on the options estimate, with this boat, that can we can vary that quite a bit. We've had 2 boats that have gone out, one with a huge number of options and one with quite a sparse set of options. So this kind of boat, typically you do generally have quite a large spec people that really are doing a liveaboard, so it can affect that weight dramatically. But 13 tonne is our light ship weight.
Sure. And a question here from Laurie, which I think you may have answered, but maybe you can just clarify for us. Is the boom run on a traveller or via blocks on the aft beam? Yeah,
so that's it's blocks from the aft beam using a bridle system. That's our standard setup. But as mentioned, I think it's one of those things that some people either like or some people like to have a traveller as well. So we are looking to see if we can put in a main sheet track on the aft beam there, which I think some people would request.
Sure. I notice on the cockpit hardtop there's a number of solar panels. So that would be the obvious location to put panels.
Absolutely. Yeah. It makes sense.
And how many panels would you expect? So we've got 4 there. They'd be about 200 watts each, I guess.
They would be. Yeah. So the reality is, on a boat of this size, you're going to have enough space to put enough panels to live aboard and not be too concerned. I think the efficiency of solar panels these days and the regulators used, I don't think you're not going to run out of space for solar panels to be mounted.
And I'm not sure I asked before, the size of the motors. Tell us about the engine systems.
The motors are Yamahas. They're not Yamahas. Yanmars. They're the 53 horsepower inbuilt diesels with sail drive. For as long as I can remember, Seawind used Yanmar. All of the 1160s, all of the 1250s, and I have to say they've for us have really been one of the rock solid suppliers for us at Seawind. The backup service they give you, the fact that you actually don't need to call upon them for service is a true indicator that they've just got a really good quality product. So we certainly would want to partner with Yanmar again for this product.
Yeah, that's excellent. Now, can you tell us the price? I think there's been a new price announced for the boat.
Absolutely. So we've just released that the X-Works price is $839, which is US dollars, which we've obviously introducing the model. We're looking to get some product moving for 2017. So yeah, we're interested to see what the feedback is from people in Australia, but also this product's it's a product that's suitable for the European and US market as well. And we've got a lot of interest coming in for it. So yeah.
So that's an introductory price for the
first
couple of orders. Yeah. Okay. X factory. So for Australian customers, probably the most logical way of bringing it back is likely to sail at home, and a fantastic boat to sail back to Australia, which would probably cost another 25 grand Australian thereabouts, and then once entering Australia, we obviously pay GST, but there is no import tax from Vietnam. So a 5% tax that usually gets paid on European boats and boats from other parts of the world isn't applicable because of the free trade agreement with Vietnam and Australia. So just the GST, and otherwise, obviously you can ship them, Mike, if need be, but a bit of
yeah, and look,
tag.
shipping of this boat, you're probably looking around the 50 to 60K US, I'd say, because of the, it's a large vessel. I think for an Australian customer, sailing south would be the far more sensible way. And look, if you've got time to do it, it would be just fantastic sailing as well. We've just we've launched a number of boats in in Vietnam now that have been sailed south, and we're getting great feedback from customers. We've actually got we've got a US couple who are on their way to New Zealand, and they only went in the water 3.5 weeks ago now, and they're just about to approach Thursday Island. So in the right weather, you can actually get down pretty quickly down to Australia. They've been down to Darwin. Took them 2 weeks to get to Darwin, and then they've shot across to Thursday Island. So it's a very achievable trip to do, and it's some of the fantastic cruising grounds as well. So yeah, definitely worth considering.
Yeah, and obviously there's good people that we can connect with both in Southeast Asia and Australia with delivery skipper options to bring it home, and also help with route planning and various other resources to bring it through that part of the world.
Yeah,
a number of our customers here in Australia have bought boats and left them in Southeast Asia for a while to explore that part of the world, which would be a pretty cool thing to do too. A couple more questions from the floor here. Laurie's asked, I noticed on the website you specify 3-blade fixed props, a gory or equivalent gory folding props, that is, equivalent available. Mike, can you answer that?
Absolutely. Yeah, look, absolutely. The gory 3-blade folding props is an upgrade, and it's one that nearly all Seawind 1160s, 1250s have done. The fixed props there are typically the charter guys or the more basic weekend sailors. So, and look, the gory props are fantastic quality in their product, but also initial design of how they have their overdrive function. Being able to spin the blade so you've got the leading edge to become the trailing edge, and yeah, absolutely, they're available. The other question that's come up there from Peter is any thoughts on electric or hybrid power? Look, it's one that we consistently keep our eye on, but I think at this stage of this product we'd be looking to do a diesel version for the first few boats. But certainly, if there's a package that you're interested in that you think would be suitable for this product, then let's talk about it. Let's investigate it, see whether it's suitable. Quite often, the electric and hybrid power options, when you do the maths, don't always work out right, and perhaps that's why they're not, flooding the marketplace. But there are some products which are coming through now which do make sense, and we can see coming through and being used. So we certainly would be open to doing something down the track, definitely.
Excellent. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, Mike, anything else that's come to mind or you wanted to add?
No, I just thank you all for being part of the webinar, and I hope the information was most useful to you. If you have any more questions, then please you can contact me at mike@seawindcats.com or obviously through Brent if it's of a less technical nature and you're just more interested in finding out about when the product's going to be available and pricing. But thank you for joining us.
And this presentation's been recorded and will be available as a YouTube video certainly by tomorrow. So if you wanted to go over some of the detail, it'll be there to replay. Thanks again, everyone. Thank you, Mike, for excellent presentation, and we look forward to seeing one on the water soon.
Great, thank you.